Bro, what is this production?
Oh!
Oh my god.
That nigga got his back.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of what he just said, you can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it.
Jake Paul has weighed in on the viral sparring footage of Gervonta Tank Davis that's been making waves across social media. And his reaction has everyone talking. The clip shows Davis looking quicker, sharper, and more explosive than ever as he gears up for his next fight, sparking excitement among fans who believe Tank might be entering the best form of his career. Gervonta Davis has built his legacy in the lighter weight divisions, usually competing between 133 and 135 pounds, and he's never officially fought above 140 in his professional career. On the other hand, Jake Paul is a natural cruiserweight, typically stepping into the ring around 200 pounds, as seen in his most recent fights. That's not just a small difference. It's a massive jump across several weight classes. When the gap is that big, it's not just about skill anymore. Factors like strength, power, punch resistance, and overall durability start to play a huge role in who comes out on top.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really gonna do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport.
Carmel Moughton recently reflected on a memorable sparring session he had with Gervonta Davis when he was just 15 or 16 years old. He admitted feeling nervous at first, but the session quickly turned into a tactical chess match, less about brute power and more about timing, speed, and counterattacks. Moughton said Davis never went all out trying to knock him out. Instead, they exchanged angles and rhythm in a smart, strategic battle. He recalled that Davis's strength was clear, but when it came to pure skill and quickness, it was a competitive back and forth. Moughton described the experience as fun, challenging, and a major learning moment in his early boxing journey.
What was it like when you sparred him? I know you sparred Tank early on. Yeah. What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me. Like, you coming out of it, what was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like, he was using the speed on me. Like, we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah, I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why I'm so like I got all this hype around.
Sean Porter has stepped up to defend Gervonta Davis's decision to take part in an exhibition bout with Jake Paul, saying that many critics are missing the bigger picture. According to Porter, this fight isn't about proving who's the best. It's about securing financial stability for Davis and his family. Since it's an exhibition, the risks are lower thanks to agreed-upon rules and safety measures, with the main goal being entertainment. Porter explained that fighters have short careers and need to seize opportunities that bring both visibility and financial reward. From his point of view, Davis isn't selling out. He's making a smart move to protect his future while still putting on a show for the fans. Porter's comments highlight the ongoing balance between those who chase legacy and those who must think about life beyond the sport.
They're trying to make it safer, and all those sorts of things. But there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore. But it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like, I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, the more of a difference,
right,
there might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter getting in the ring with a 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now let's really answer this.
On the other hand, many fans and analysts argue that despite all the excitement, the massive weight difference makes this fight more of a spectacle than a true competitive contest. Even the promoters seem to recognize that reality. That's why special safety conditions are being introduced, such as a 195-pound catch weight, larger gloves, and the exhibition format, to reduce the risks involved. For most observers, the real story isn't just the weight, but the experience gap. Gervonta Davis has faced world-class champions, while Jake Paul's resume is still relatively young. Many predict that Davis's speed, precision, and ring IQ will allow him to slip in and land clean shots, making Jake look outmatched despite the size advantage.
Comment about it. My question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah. Big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed
that was actually getting.
That is
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we don't punch each other in the jaw.
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not very interesting to me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person, and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person?
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd
dude.
likely has shoes on there.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small. Wow. Great fight.
Chael Sonnen recently criticized Jake Paul's decision to pivot from a potential bout with Anthony Joshua to a fight against Gervonta Tank Davis, calling it a step down from what fans were expecting. Sonnen argued that, unlike Paul, Davis isn't a natural self-promoter. He prefers to let his performances speak for themselves rather than engage in hype or trash talk. While Sonnen acknowledged Davis's elite skill and credibility inside the ring, he believes that without Jake Paul's flair for storytelling and media buzz, the matchup wouldn't generate nearly as much attention. In his view, the fight's appeal relies less on the clash of two fighters and more on the power of Paul's promotional machine.
It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for two. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
7. Over time, Gervonta Davis's perception of Jake Paul has noticeably changed. Initially, Davis brushed Paul off as little more than a loud, attention-seeking showman, someone trying to make noise rather than a serious fighter. He openly mocked Paul's boxing ambitions and treated him like a sideshow in the sport. But as Paul began training seriously and earning a measure of credibility, Davis's attitude started to shift. He's since acknowledged Paul's work ethic, discipline, and mental toughness in the gym. While Davis still doesn't view him as elite-level boxing talent, he's become more open to the idea of facing him, especially given Paul's massive fan base and promotional pull.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself.
Jake Paul has officially declared that his next chapter in boxing is just getting started. And this time, he's setting his sights on real seasoned boxers across the divisions. Following his win over Andre August, Paul announced that he's done with crossover and MMA-style matchups, committing instead to the traditional boxing path and challenging legitimate professional fighters. In a recent CNN interview, he doubled down, saying he wants to take on the biggest and toughest opponents, the ones where he's considered the underdog, to truly prove himself inside the ring. Across his social media and interviews, Paul has made it clear that he's moving beyond spectacle and aiming to build a genuine boxing legacy, testing himself against credible contenders to show he belongs among the sport's elite.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah,
man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. gotta be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it shows.
Jake Paul's dominant victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has significantly boosted his credibility within the boxing world. The Anaheim event broke the venue's all-time gate revenue record, surpassing shows once headlined by top-tier champions, a clear sign of Paul's growing commercial power. Even respected names like Oscar de la Hoya have acknowledged that Paul is now taking the sport seriously, with some suggesting he could one day compete for a legitimate world title. Manny Pacquiao also praised Paul's dedication, noting that whatever doubts remain, his commitment to boxing can't be denied. The fight not only elevated Paul's reputation, but also showcased his improved technical control and composure inside the ring, even under intense pressure.
Everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
Oh no, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
No way in hell this fight was ever gonna happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena.
Out there taking on Mike Tyson, that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.